Okay, moving on to 35. For each right triangle described, find all three angles to the nearest tenth. Okay, that's not bad. So again, they didn't draw a right triangle for us, so it might be helpful for you to draw it yourself. The hypotenuse is 10 millimeters. The adjacent side is 3 meters long. Okay. So let's just pick an angle. So we'll call it this one here. We don't know, so we'll call it x. And it says the adjacent side is 3 millimeters. So if we know adjacent and hypotenuse, we know that's cosine. So cosine of something equals adjacent, so 3 over hypotenuse 10. So since we don't know the degrees, we're going to use the inverse. We know the inverse cosine of x equals 0.3. Okay, so actually that's not how it should look. It should look like this. Cosine -1 of 0.3 is going to equal the measure of angle x. That's how it really looks. So let's get rid of that. Okay, so trusty calculator. Bam. 0.3 inverse cosine 72.5 degrees, let's just say. So, x equals 72.5 degrees. If that's the case, we know that all triangles have angles that measure up to 180 degrees. So, and this is 90. So we have 90 plus 72.5 is going to equal 162.5. And so to get to 80, the next angle has to be 17.5. So all of the angles are 17.5, 72.5, these are all degrees by the way, and 90. Moving on. I like that question, that's a good one. And I think the next one is similar, let's find out. So again, we have a right triangle. They do not draw it, so we have to kind of draw it. It says the opposite side is 14 feet long. Let's just pick an angle to do here, so let's just choose this one. The opposite side is 14 feet long. The adjacent side is 6 feet long. So we need to measure all the angles. So if we know adjacent and opposite, or opposite and adjacent, that's TOA. So we know that tangent of some angle is going to equal the opposite, so 14, divided by the adjacent, which is 6, so 7/3. On a calculator, that's going to be what? 2 and 1/3, so 2 with a repeating 3. Okay, so again, we're going to say the inverse tangent of 2.3 repeating is going to equal the measure of angle x. So trusty calculator, 2.3 repeating. To get the closest answer we can, let's just throw some extra 3's in there. Why not? Or we could even say 7 divided by 3, and it would do it for us. Aha. Okay. So now I need the inverse tangent, and I'm already on inverse, so that works. And it looks like a 66.8 degree angle. So 66.8 measure of angle x equals, what did I say? 66.8. And since the other one's 90, so we have 90 plus 66.8 is 156.8. So to get to 180, we need 23.2. So our angles are 23.2, 66.8, and 90, all degrees. Double check. Yeah, that works. Cool. Another excellent question. 37, we're getting close. Write the steps you can use to oh, I'm low on battery power. Time to plug in. Move over to my desk here. All right. Write the steps you can use to tell whether a triangle is a right triangle. Well, that's easy. use Pythagorean theorem, x squared, oh no, not x, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And if this equation is true when a and b are the legs and c is the hypotenuse, then you are dealing with a right triangle. Next. 38. What are the three radical expressions that simplify to become 2x root 2? Okay, well, if this is the simplified version, the unsimplified version could have like a 4x squared under there with it, so like 8x squared, the square root, that would work. What else? Well, you could have been 2, and just the x squared could have been under there. That would work, right? Yeah, okay, I think that works. And what else? So maybe just the 8 was under there, and the x was already out, so you could have x root 8. That would also work. Okay, that's kind of an interesting question. 39. A student solved the equation x squared minus 16, square root of that, equals the square root of x plus 4 squared, and found x to be equal to negative 4. He said that this solution was extraneous, thus there is no solution. Describe and correct his error. Well, I don't know what his error is, so I'm going to go ahead and start working the problem and see what happens. So I know the square root of all that. I don't know what that is, so let's see. Well, I know the square root of that is x plus 4, so let's start there. So the square root of x squared minus 16 is equal to x plus 4, so let's start there. If we then square both sides, we'll get x squared minus 16 equals x squared plus 8x plus 16. Then we could subtract x squared from both sides and get negative 16 equals 8x plus 16. And then we could let's subtract 16. So we get negative 32 equals 8x. And then we get x is negative 4. So we got the same answer. But we have to check for extraneousness here. So let's go back up. And we see that negative 4 plus 4 is 0 squared is 0. And negative 4 squared is 16 minus 16. Okay, sounds like it works. So it's not extraneous because when you plug in negative 4, you do in fact get the square root of 0 equals the square root of 0. So it does work. So it sounds like the person solving this problem did it correct, and then I'm not sure what their error was for calling it extraneous. I don't know, but it works. All right, that is it. If you have any questions, email me tonight, and I might get back to you. So if I hear my email bling, I will answer it.